All right. This is the third update from confusion to clarity. I am in the home of my cousin who is actually taller than me. I made him sit in a lower chair. So it's a beautiful thing because it looks as if I'm taller. I'm not. Uh, could never approach dunking Stuart in the way that you could. But Stuart is also very good at public speaking and finds it a little bizarre that what we're doing right now has no preparation and no notes at all. But it's a week in review. So we're going to talk about various and sundry topics. The first one is coming to Connecticut from Tennessee. It felt like we were still walking inside someone's mouth. It is pretty hot outside. How
It
much of
is.
that
It is. It's a little sticky.
have you read Al Gore?
Yes. It's been a while though. I was pretty young.
How much of this is Al Gore's fault, or how much of it is global warming that we're facing currently?
It's all Al Gore. Let's be honest.
We're just going to blame it
We
all on Al Gore.
is he still alive?
He was, yes, I believe so. He was just fanning some flames. He did sell his entire media company to one of the sovereign wealth funds in the Middle East based on oil. So if the earth is burning, I do partly want to blame Al Gore. I read Earth in the Balance a long time ago when it came out when I was still a young man. And I thought, man, these are some pretty sweet predictions in the sense that they were very particular.
Mm,
He wasn't hedging.
right.
It's
Right.
like by 2030, New York will be underwater.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He was kind of a secular prophet.
He staked some claims.
He did. Yeah.
And boy,
At least he was confident.
if 2012 had been the apocalypse, we might never have known what an entire fraud Al Gore was. But all of those were wrong. 2012 was not the apocalypse. It is really hot, and
And you're wearing pants. I'm impressed.
I am wearing. They're light pants. They're light pants. The paleness of my lower legs is probably something that would scare your kids.
Well, you've got McDonald's calves like me too.
Yeah.
We
got some
wear them
strong-
proudly.
You got some stronger legs than
Chicken
I.
legs we got.
Yes, we're not with my grandfather on the other side, grandfather Wood, Pastor Wood, like to say, the Lord. Here's a real Bible verse: the Lord does not delight in the strength of a man's legs. All right, so it is hot outside, and here's something that's nice to think about as an American. It's hot outside,
Mm.
and we're not dying of heat stroke
Mm.
because what's mostly helping us in hot weather prevent heat-related death?
Mm.
There's no prep,
AC.
guys. He got the right answer though. It is air conditioning. And why are people in Europe dying
Mm.
in heat?
Their AC system's not good. I remember being over there
They hate it.
during. It's right.
They hate air conditioning.
During July, it was
They-
not fun.
They think that we're
I
like
forgot that.
less than because we have air conditioning.
Yeah.
And listen,
Just like microwaves.
I shouldn't be laughing or dunking on them. I'm not, but it's
No.
sad
Yeah.
that a bunch of Europeans are dying this week because of heat. And it's
right.
a solvable problem, right? We have cars that drive without human driving. You can put a window unit in your AC, even in an old building. It is possible. It can happen. So it's just a part of the news. It's a part to think about. It's a blessing to live in an era when we have air conditioning. And again, civilizations make choices. The United States has a tremendous amount of drug death. That is tragic. And it is getting a bit better in part because we said that the fentanyl components that were being shipped to China, from China to Mexico, and they were coming up, we weren't going to do anymore. So
Mhm.
between blowing up boats, closing the border, there's been a lot of different measures, but we have less drug overdose deaths.
And it's like Obama said, as soon as it became a white problem, that's when it became a problem.
Well, okay.
He was a prophet as well.
Here's what we have: less drug death. The civilization comment I was going to make to compare is that China, and we can't trust all of their data. We can't trust all of, but while China is very happy to send us fentanyl, they have very few drug deaths.
Mm.
They also have very little freedom. But if you're a drug dealer in China, you just get killed.
Hmm.
And so I've thought it's a very profound measurement to examine that in Europe, they think that America is tremendously violent, unbelievably violent.
Mm.
And even including suicides by gun death,
Hmm.
we have less gun death on an annual basis than they have heat death,
Wow,
heat related death.
that's crazy.
So it's just a civilizational choice. China has very little freedom. They also have very few drug overdose deaths. They execute drug dealers, and it tends to not be a very popular business when you die if you're caught doing it. And we have decided to have more freedom, and we have more drug death. But it's a very strange civilizational choice to me to have people say that some way air conditioning is not allowed. There's a bunch of other things happening. The World Cup, was that a
Mm.
red card?
No way. Not even close. That guy has to be the most athletic man in the world with the highest level of coordination for that to be a red card.
Yeah,
It's totally accidental.
it was accidental. I love the fact that my American friends who didn't play soccer, who don't like soccer, and who don't watch soccer still knew that wasn't a red card because it's like they're watching. I was watching with Danielle, and she is an incredible wife, and she loves to care about what I care about.
Mm.
So this is every 4 year time that she's like, "Oh, you like this? I'll watch it with you. What's happening here?" Uh, and then she turned to me at one point and said, "You know, I think I'd like soccer a lot more if it wasn't for this offsides thing." And I thought,
So factual.
man, that is so many Americans right now,
It's like
and,
hockey, yeah.
it's worse, I think, when you're watching, like, your grandkid score his first goal and you're, "Ah!" And then the flag goes up. It's like, "What was that? What is that? This rule is stupid." But yeah,
And they have the new technology, right?
the VAR,
Oh,
looking at all of it
twice as bad.
in slow motion, you can see malice in something that is in real time,
Mm.
obviously not malicious. Now, what is the sermon illustration from that?
Oof.
I'm not exactly sure. But when you watch the slow motion, you're like, look at
Yeah.
all this intentionality. And when you see it in real time, it's very obvious that there was no red card. And for those of you who are like, what in the world are you talking about? In the World Cup, the United States has continued to advance. We are filming this on a Friday. The United States has Belgium coming up Monday. Hopefully, we beat Belgium. But in our last game, we had our best goal scorer of this World Cup so far. Hopefully, Christian Pulisic is going to be better moving forward. But our best goal scorer so far was given a red card, cannot play against Belgium. And when you tackle someone from behind, if you get them in the ankle, if you get them in the back of their leg, if you cleat down on them from above and pushing down with your cleats up, that is usually ascribed as malice, and you get a red card, which is getting thrown out of the game and then getting a 1 game suspension.
But it's
Uh,
intentionality though, right?
Intentionality is supposed to be a part of it. And again, watching things in slow mo make them look totally different, totally different. So I love the World Cup for a lot of reasons. I love soccer. I mean, I enjoy soccer. When you played soccer a lot, the biggest difference I think is that when you watch a really good ball served in, even if it doesn't actually score, it's still extremely exciting. It's like, what a chance! What a like you watch people do what could have been an assist, and it's very exciting.
Mhm.
I think that's the biggest difference for people who played a lot of soccer watching it, because watching with friends who didn't play, they're like, "Why are you excited right now again? What the score is still 1-0." I don't but anyway, the world cares about soccer. Traveling around the world, one of the reasons the world cares about soccer is because you can be incredibly poor and
Mm.
play soccer
So true.
anywhere. You can make a ball of rags
Mhm.
and put up 2 sticks and play soccer.
Yep.
Most sports that we love require some amount of, materials to play, some
Yep.
amount of cost that's higher than most of the world. Global poverty, most of the world doesn't have the resources for that. So lots of teams to enjoy, and yeah,
Hockey number 1, lacrosse number 2. I remember having to spend like $500 before lacrosse season.
this
Absurd.
guy played college lacrosse.
It wasn't very good, but
Very athletic guy. And I think only one time did you guys try to teach me some lacrosse, and I almost started crying as an adult man, but I didn't have, like, the
only
right
because
things
you
on my
weren't an East
I didn't
Coaster.
have the right
That's
things on my arms, and
the
it was
only
like,
reason.
"You I'm gonna throw this down right now, this stick thing, and just start punching you in the face. Like, why are you hitting my arms?
With the titanium, yeah, exactly. It's
What is
what's made
that?"
out of airplanes, right?
Oh, so, yeah, anyway, a lot of college lacrosse player. But so, yeah, soccer's a great sport. It's a global sport. It brings people together. People are very passionate about it. It's fun to celebrate what somebody else is celebrating. One of the primary reasons that I care about sports, I would also say we both care about sports because our granddad,
Mm.
Stuart McDonald, we are both named Stuart. I go by Clayton, but Stuart is my middle name, and this is Stuart. We're named after granddad Angus Stuart McDonald, and he loves sports with a deep and abiding passion. One of the primary reasons that I love sports is that it is such a connection point for talking to people, and it moves you much closer. I just on the plane on the way up here was trying to move a conversation a little bit towards Christ, and we talked about backpacking first. The guy had just been on the Appalachian Trail for 2 weeks. Talked a little bit about his background when he worked for Google, and really neat guy, really smart guy. And if you just go straight into like, "Hey, it's really nice to meet you." Like, what's your
Have
thoughts
you been
about
saved?
Jesus?
Yeah.
It doesn't tend to go very well. But once you've established that you both, dislike the coach of Kentucky basketball or whatever, if you connect on a point of uh, communication that is shared passion, I think that's America seems to me to be it's extremely dangerous to talk about politics in America right now. Even the tribal part of that of like, do you like this state level politician? Do you like this governor? Do you like this senator? Uh, it's a pretty strong binary, right?
Mhm.
Like, hey, I like this person. Oh, really? Well, I hate their guts.
Mhm.
It's a conversation ender. Uh, but when you get into a lot of tribal stuff around sports, it's like you can have some shared enemies, maybe, but you can also just celebrate that you like somebody and you're happy for them.
Mhm.
I'm happy for half of the World Cup teams right now. Somebody's like, "I love, Australia," or whatever. I'm like, "Man, God bless. That's awesome. Tell me why you love Australia." So, it's a great connection point, and watching fans. Stuart, have you watched any of these videos of
No.
fans coming?
No.
The fans from Europe were so misinformed about what the United States was like. And they're getting famous, which is also part of parasocial relationships. People all feel like they know them and love them. But there's a guy named Freddie. I get to tell you in real time right now about Freddie. All right, Stuart. Freddie gets on X. He's not that famous, but he's coming over to America. And he's like, hey, guys, can you tell me what I should see when I'm in America? And people are like, this guy's sincere. He doesn't seem like he's punking us. Like he really wants to know. So people start saying, my favorite restaurant is this. My favorite thing is this. When will you be here? When will you be here? My grandma will make you biscuits. Like, people are trying to help him out. He ends up going viral, like unbelievably viral. So he goes from 30,000 people to 500,000 people in a week. He meets Ella Langley, who's a country artist who he says he admires. So they set up to meet her. He goes and meets professional sports teams. He meets Donald Trump. And so as he's getting famous, then people start attacking him because he had posts like from way back in the day that were,
Mm.
I don't even know what the posts were, guys. I haven't seen them. I just know that he had posts that were controversial. But anyway, he's deleted all of his socials
Wow.
now
Interesting.
because he was like, this is too much.
Yeah.
I can't handle this. It's too
Right.
much for me.
Right.
But he became the most famous of all the fans. The coolest thing though is he just represented a phenomenon, which was Europeans who were told America is poor, America is violent, America is a horrible place.
Mhm.
And then they came here and they were like, okay, here's some of the stuff they've been the most jazzed about. Bucky's gas stations, how big they are, that they have barbecue sold inside. They've been fired up about Waffle House.
Mm.
They've been fired up about how inexpensive steaks are at Texas Roadhouse. They've been fired up about ice and drinks. They've been fired up about free refills. And it's just been a lot of
Wow.
fun to watch people see America through their eyes.
Mm.
I think it's super easy for any of us to become entitled and ungrateful for the things around us,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And so I know if I'm in Europe and, a guy's like, "Yeah, that's my field where I tend my cows." And I'm just like, "But look at the mountains all around you." Like, I know that feeling coming the other direction,
Mhm.
but it's really sweet to see America through the eyes of Europeans.
Mm.
We're like, "Man, America's incredible.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
America's a wonderful place.
Yep.
It's so beautiful. It's so special." And, I think coming up to the 250 anniversary for the United States, there's a lot of people who kinda need to feel that.
Mhm.
I think
Mhm.
that in a lot of circles, you travel in some like elite circles. Okay. You're around some elite people, credentialed people. Yale's close by,
Yeah, it's
right?
close by.
Right.
Yale Hospital.
There's a lot of people who are not, they're not huge rah-rah American fans, and they almost view that as like a test of whether or not you're elite with them,
Mhm.
right? Like
Yeah, yeah, that's a good
if
point.
you have a pose of being condescending towards America,
Right.
then you're elite.
Yep.
We're not like those people.
Cynicism in general. If
But
you're a cynic, then you're considered part of the intelligentsia and the edgy type.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
not part of like the Walmart crowd.
Right, right. Exactly.
You're too smart for that.
Yep.
You
Yep.
look down on those people.
Right.
And it's I wrote a bunch this week. Stuart is a cousin who I love and he loves me. He doesn't read my essays, guys, if you're wondering.
I've read a couple, and you need to read
A
them.
few of them he's read.
I just don't read.
He doesn't
I read
have
good.
the time. He doesn't have the time to read all of my essays, and that is fine. My largest constituency are retired folks, and I love you.
Wow.
God bless you. And because you're retired, you can read all of my essays. But I wrote this week some about Howard Zinn, who wrote
Oh,
People's
yeah.
History of the United States,
Yeah.
and just how, if you look at the new data right now, it is very sad to think that you talk to a person and say, "Hey, are you excited about the 250?" And they're like, "No."
Mm.
It's like, "Why not?" They're like, I don't love America. I think that our country is not something to celebrate." You know, they're
Mhm.
against the founders. They
Yeah.
think that the founders were exploitative and that their entire point of why they made America was to make more money and blah blah blah.
Mhm.
And that is a large group of propagandized people, but it's extremely age banded.
Mhm.
So a ton of them are the people you guys are seeing at college campuses.
Mm.
And they've been told explicitly, America's not great. Have you heard people say, like, from Make America Great Again to they're like, when was America ever great?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
America was never great.
Right. Exactly.
And it's like, well, what about when we saved the world from Hitler
Right.
in World War II?
Yeah.
Was that a good one? Or
Right, right,
but it's hard for them to even understand. We vanquished a huge enemy and
right.
then we rebuilt them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the idea of even doing that, right, is tied to Christian thought.
Mhm.
A Marshall Plan doesn't make sense if you're just imperial power
Mhm.
who's going to dominate people.
Right. Right.
So yeah, we're coming up on the 250. We have fireworks. I think there's fireworks tonight. Around fireworks
Yeah. Oh,
close
yeah.
by.
Yeah.
Yeah, uh, it's a wonderful time to celebrate our country, and I think many of us find it shocking, surprising, and hard that people aren't. Some people
Mhm.
aren't.
Mhm.
But some of the same kid who will say to you, "I'm not coming to Thanksgiving because you're a
Mhm.
fascist,"
Mhm.
is also the same kid who's like, "Yeah, no, I'm not celebrating. I don't have a flag out,
Right.
or I put up a Hamas flag or something."
Right, right.
Right?
Yep. What country would you live in where there aren't some holes that you need to repent of corporately and individually? Every single country. So
Absolutely.
it's
We're a bunch of broken sinners in a
yeah.
broken world,
Yeah.
but the unique blessings of America tied to so many people having a Christian worldview
Yeah.
and setting our country up with that in
Right,
mind.
right. Did you see I love the John Adams letters. I'm sure you've seen them. You could probably actually I would love to hear your take on all of them. His letters to Thomas Jefferson, basically flat out overtly stating this nation was built off of Christian principles. And
Absolutely.
he said it numerous times.
Yeah.
And then I saw this on CNN not too long ago. I saw this professor, I think he was from NYU maybe, saying that nobody ever stated that.
Right.
Nobody, not even close.
Right.
You just do a little bit of digging and it's so clear it's scary. So how can he say that? He was a history professor too. Say that with such an authoritative presence. Is he just totally lying?
I do think we ended
Or
up
is there something beyond that?
I think that we ended up with a lot of people in those majors. The other thing I wrote about this week was this Vanderbilt study on the humanities. It actually came out last month, but I only saw it today, guys. That's why I wrote about it today. Vanderbilt did a study on the humanities, and it showed how much the humanities moved away from things that couldn't even be studied or any kind of evidence based. It was just ideology,
Mm,
propaganda. And if you have a fact that's inconvenient, you need to hide it.
mhm.
That's what Zen did.
Yeah,
I mean, he was
yeah.
such a propagandist that he would lie about things. American separation of church and state, Barry Lynn's organization, 20 plus years ago. I'm working as a lawyer, and I would get to know some guys and just think, I don't know if this guy is deluded or if he's ignorant. And honestly, I wasn't sure which one. Try not to ascribe malice to ignorance, but sometimes you meet someone smart and their whole job is to talk about the stuff, and
Mhm.
you think like, you've read that, you've seen the same stuff I've seen, right? Like
Right, right.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
and, Thomas Jefferson, for instance, he did write the phrase separation of church and state. It doesn't appear in our Constitution. It's in the Soviet Constitution. But Thomas Jefferson did write that in a letter, we're here in Connecticut, to the Danbury Baptist Association
I believe it, yeah.
because they were afraid of the federal government picking a side. Particularly, they were afraid of the Episcopal side becoming the dominant federal religion and coming against the Baptists, who were pretty weak politically, pretty small everywhere that they existed in the country, and had fled political persecution from Europe when they came here. So some of the same people who understood the political pressure of choosing a particular sect of Christianity followed the path of a Roger Williams, one of the greatest writers of early American thought, on freedom of conscience. And they said, please tell us that the federal government is not going to do this. And Thomas Jefferson says, the federal government is not going to pick a sect. The wall of separation that he referred to was to say, we're going to protect the church from the federal government. You don't need to worry about us. But it wasn't hostility to the church. It certainly wasn't hostility to Christianity. And all of these Marxist, pseudo communists, or just people who don't know history, who continue to try to teach you that separation of church and state has been vital since the founding and that we would never allow, for instance, Bibles in public schools, are some of the most deeply deluded and or ignorant people that exist. Thomas Jefferson was on a school board that had two texts for their school, and one of them was the Bible. Josh Howerton, you and I have talked about him a little bit. I love that guy. I don't know him. I've never met him. Josh, if you ever see this video, call me. He's great. His videos are great, but he's discovering right now. He was with, I think David Barton's son was appearing with him and talking to him about some of his history. He was like, "How come no one taught me this?" It's like, well, there was an agenda from the people who were teaching you history, and they didn't want you to know this. But as we celebrate America's 250, we can be really thankful for our heritage as a Christian nation. Okay, our last thing we're going to talk about in a weekly wrap up. Briefly, very briefly, so it won't be the last thing, actually, very briefly, we're thankful that there's a pause in the war with Iran. We're thankful gas prices continue to come down. We're thankful that there is a decent amount of movement. KPLER, Kepler, I don't know if that's even how you pronounce it. Anyway, I read it more than I say it. They do a lot of work to show where shipping traffic is going. Oil is moving from the Gulf. It's coming out of the Strait of Hormuz. They're going down through close to Oman, and mostly they're being left alone right now by Iran, which is why oil prices are coming down. If you're saying, when am I going to see less pain at the pump? It's coming, and it's encouraging. That is holding for now. We don't have big updates on that. Haven't written big updates on that for that reason. Hezbollah was frozen out of an agreement between Israel, the United States, and Lebanon looks like they actually legitimately at the governmental level want peace, and that's a blessing. So good stuff there. Now, Taylor Swift.
Oof.
Taylor Swift, guys, as we speak, probably. Well, I don't know because I asked my wife, was like, well, they actually released this is when her reception is, whatever. I think it's today, and I think it's Madison Square Garden as the venue. I think that the church should talk about Taylor Swift's wedding. What do you think?
Depends what angle.
Yeah, okay, here's why. First of all, I'm very pro marriage.
Mhm.
Second of all, it's the most important marriage culturally that's happened since the royal wedding.
Mhm.
And a big thing that I'm trying to say with it is, I'm pro marriage, and I'm also noticing that I don't think this is a specific thing that I wrote about again today that I just feel very passionately about. I think Catholics are doing a better job than Protestants and evangelicals at telling people, hey, you're getting married. That's so awesome. Have some kids, have
Mm.
some babies. If someone said to me,
Mhm.
Clayton, my wife and I are very into ear stuff, ear play. That's the only thing. When we go to bed at night, when we turn off the lights, we just like to touch each other's ears. That's it. That's the thing. We love each other's ears. We whisper to each other, and we love ears. I would hope that someone cared enough about them to explain that there's a miraculous gift from God that's better and that feels better and that works better than touching each other's ears. Touching each other's ears can be a part of a great night, but the
Uh,
book of Song of Solomon would help you understand that this isn't all there is. When you look at the way God designed that gift, procreation is a part of what naturally happens a lot. And the church in the 70s were morally so broken, so
mm,
cowardly, so disconnected from culture that they didn't even speak out about abortion. But today, a problem that I see all over the place is that if a couple, guys 27, girls 25, are going to announce they're getting married, and then they say, you know what, for the next 5 years, we're definitely going to make sure that we don't have any kids. We're not sure that we ever want to have kids, but no kids for 5 years because it would really mess up our vacations. It would really mess up our lives. What we think is starting when she's 30, he's 32, we're going to have 3 kids. We're going to have 2 boys and a girl, and between 30 and 40, and then we'll be done. I think most evangelical churches would say, great guys, that's thoughtful planning on your part.
hmm,
And
cultural, yeah.
I think that that's so sad.
Mhm.
We don't know, none of us know exactly how we can participate with God in the tremendous blessing and gift of being co-creators of life. We don't know. The number of people who have miscarriages is incredibly high. The number of people who have fertility issues is higher than it used to be. So we don't know. We're not God. We're not in control of all of that. But choosing barrenness
Mhm.
is something, again, listen, if you're like, well, I'm watching this, Clayton, I'm deeply offended. I have infertility issues. You're not who I'm talking to at all. But choosing barrenness, choosing it. Everything's working great. We just decided we don't want it. We're preventing it actively. It makes me sad. It's not good. It's not good for our culture. It's not good for church. It's not good for civilization. And I don't think it's good for the married couple.
Mhm.
Do you do you
Stats
think
show
do
that.
you think you and your wife were still pretty selfish before you had kids in a way that you're not today?
Oh, yeah. I think our selfishness is drawn out slightly more or overtly today with kids,
Yeah.
but just in a different way. It forces you to be less selfish.
Yeah,
Forces you. You
exactly.
have no choice
Exactly.
unless you're gonna put your kids on the streets,
Yeah.
you know?
The sanctifying power is not just oxytocin, it's actually that you know, I have a choice right now, and what I want in my flesh, what I desire is to ignore my kids. And what God's called me to is to love them and intentionally shepherd them. And that's going to mean that the things that I like to do for myself on my own, away from my family, is going to decrease. And what I'm doing in a sacrificial way for my family to love and lead my family is going to increase. And so we become more Christ like because we had kids.
Mhm.
And
It's
that's
true.
just a blessing that I want them to have. So I don't know the state of either of their souls. I'm not a unequivocal Taylor Swift fan. I haven't listened to her music in a long time, but and I think some of her music is concerning from what I do understand. But I
She's a
wonder.
Knicks fan,
Okay,
for what it's worth.
I mean that's pretty good.
One thing on marriage and having kids, I remember that Time magazine, I wanna say it was probably like 2005, the edition. On the front cover, it was why American couples are having way less kids.
Yeah,
And it was 2 reasons from what I can remember. It was 1, a total dedication towards the idol of happiness
yeah,
and not having to curb your freedoms at all.
yeah,
And then the second one being a worldview that says there's no eternity out there. And so why bring kids into a broken world?
yeah,
Now, obviously, their language was different than that. Mine
yeah,
sounds very Christian, but it was basically like, there's no eternity out there.
yeah,
Everything's going to burn, and
yeah,
there's evil going on. And so
yeah,
why would you bring kids into this kind of messed up
yeah, yeah,
society?
yeah,
And so if you look at it in that regard, with no Christ and no eternity out there, it makes total sense not to bring kids into this world.
yeah,
But if you understand that like you were getting at, it's so interesting. All studies show people think who are atheists who are not going to have kids. They think I'm going to be more independent, or we're going to be more independent together, and we're going to have more freedom.
Mhm.
Oddly enough, when you have kids later in life, you have way more freedom. And even earlier, you have different forms of freedom, and your happiness increases greatly.
Yeah.
So people, based off of information bias or your own worldview, whatever it might be, think the opposite. It's
Yeah.
totally wrong from studies. Studies show the opposite of
Yeah. Yeah.
that. Yeah.
By the way, guys, studies show that the most sexually satisfied people of all the studied people, evangelical Christians who go to church every week, we're the happiest group, guys.
And attack the Pentagon or the Capitol.
No, I was like, the Pentagon.
Pentagon's next.
Is
Prophecy.
is this the September 11th? Well, like, what, are you going on a conspiracy theory? Theo Vaughn's over next to me, guys. Sorry about that. No, we've got to go back to blaming. We got to go back to blaming Al Gore. We got to blame Al Gore once again, because climate, really seriously, climate crisis. People do blame that as a reason that they cannot bring kids into the world because the whole world's going to be destroyed. And again, that kind of nihilism, that kind of depression, that kind of fear is something not to be as I'm much angry about, as to have compassion, to want to help people who are wrong about that and who are missing out on that. But I think that the church's power to speak into this cultural moment is to say, pray for Taylor Swift, pray for Travis, pray for them to come to know people. This is a critical one. Know people who don't care about their celebrity. That's going to be not impossible, but somewhat miraculous.
Mm-hmm.
People who don't want anything from them, who are like, I'm not trying to get a promotion deal or whatever. Like, I just care about you. But if they can get into a healthy church where they're just discipled, that would be incredible. Someone in my comments said that Tim Tebow and his wife would be great to. I think that's true. I think that it's very hard for people to think that someone can relate to them when they're in that sphere of life, if somebody's not dealing with a lot of what they deal with. But Tim Tebow, I think, would be good for them to talk to. I just want them surrounded by people who love Jesus and love them. And I want them to grow and be discipled. And I want them to be a picture of, man, having kids is awesome. Because we, as a civilization right now, are not having enough kids. And a lot of that, I think, is in part, listen, when people who are nihilistic and who believe that life is meaningless and that they're an animal and that they have no soul, when they make a choice to not have kids, I get it.
Yep.
But Christians, guys, the church should be very consistently teaching that children are an incredible blessing. And if God gives you the ability to marry, to provide for your family, it is just a huge blessing to be able to have kids. We both have kids. They've been playing. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to see them. It's a lot of fun to be around them. Having kids is awesome. I wish Travis and Taylor all the best. And I think that there's a lot of people watching the world and they're like, wait a minute, are Christians pro-marriage? Yes, we are. Okay, so everyone can get married and marriage can be in a Vegas chapel. My answer to that is no. I take marriage so seriously that I want people to have a framework where they enter into it with seriousness as a covenant before God. I want people to get good pre-marriage counseling. I want people to get good post-marriage counseling. But if it's just either they're going to live together as a boyfriend and girlfriend or sleeping together, or they're going to get married, I'm pro-marriage. I like marriage. I'm for marriage. So I hope that, yeah, I don't know, Taylor Swift, 45-year-old Christian musician. Is that, I mean, remotely possible?
Yeah. She has some kind of upbringing, right? In it.
Yeah. She can get married, start having babies.
Yep.
People often, it's a very well studied fact that people, when they have kids, often
Mhm.
become much
True.
more desirous of church going, because they think, where was I safe? Where did I feel nurtured? Where did I get a mindset to think about the things that matter 100 years from now and 1,000 years from now? And the answer for many is within the church. Hey, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
This
For your
wasn't this
discipling.
wasn't as painful as you thought it could be.
I learned a lot in this 20-minute session.
The weekly update.
I always get to brag about this guy too. Ever since I was like 12 years old, I've always talked to people about, yes, my cousin graduated law school when he was 14. Sad.
So
Don't mess
not,
with me.
not entirely accurate, but Stuart knows that he reminds me more of myself than just about anybody in this world. And that's why I love him and esteem him so very highly. Great seeing you, man. Thanks for being on today.
Thank you, man.